in here for the final match of the weekend. Miles and Andy, Miles Martin and Andy Bennett from Dallas Dream. And your Palm Beach Passion of Phil Valhauser and Trevor Grab. With that clock strike 0, we are on our feet to start the final match of the day, everyone.
The fans are getting on their feet. The final match of this season this evening is about to get started. It's time to head down to the sand, Mark Sherman, to meet our 4 pros ready to battle it out.
One more match. Let's do this thing, Del Rey. You have been fantastic all weekend long. Del Rey, y'all having a good time tonight? Yes, you are. All right, let's go. Come with me. Come with me. Let's meet our players first for the visiting Dallas Dream. This first guy standing is 6 feet 9 inches tall. Everybody out of Rancho Palos Verdes, California. Out of Palos Verdes High, one of the best servers in the world. He is Andy Benish. And his partner, the defender, standing at 6 feet 4 inches tall, out of Pacific Palisades, out of UCLA, it's Miles Partain. And their opponents, your Palm Beach Passion. First up, the defender, standing 6 feet 5 inches tall, out of Honolulu, Hawaii, and Long Beach State. He is Trevor Crabb. And his partner, the legend, the Olympic gold medalist, standing 6 feet 9 inches tall. He is the Thin Beast out of Orlando, Florida, and UCF. It's Phil Dalhauser.
Phil Dalhauser in his final season with the AVP. After 23 years, 4 Olympic Games and a gold medal. The impact is going to be everlasting.
Well, what impact has he had on Andy Benish? Andy Benish got his first ever AVP victory alongside Phil Dalhauser. The two 6'9" guys were split blocking down in Austin all the way to the victory.
What year was that, 2022?
2022.
There you go. I will never forget about hearing those two being partnered up. So one blocker, and at the service line now, Andy Benish paired with Phil Dalhauser back in 2022. Two bigs now battling at the net. How similar is Andy Benish to Phil Dalhauser?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think maybe similar in the way that they had to work to get to where they are. Phil, non-traditional role, played on a club team, went and played on the East Coast on the beach, and didn't know for a while if it was really the reason that he was here on the planet, and then decided that it was after he had some success alongside Nick Lucena. He said we were younger, we were kind of crazy. And Andy Benish came out of college, an exceptional college player, hit north of 400 in his middle blocking career there at USC, but didn't have a lot of beach chops. He really worked hard. And I remember when he came out to the beach, he said, well, for anyone that's looking to come out in the middle position, just remember you have to be prepared to stink for 3 years and stick through it, and then maybe you'll have some success.
Some success?
Or a lot, if you're Andy.
Or a lot. Andy Benish. There's that middle blocking technique. And one of the other interesting elements about this matchup is because the Palm Beach Passion does have a new member in Trevor Crabb. Well, Trevor Crabb is one of the few athletes to really challenge the two on the other side of the net throughout his career. The only 2 losses that they've had in the last handful of years was to Trevor Crabb and Theo Brunner.
Well, Trevor is probably the best sneaky player. You're not necessarily going to think of his name if you're just casually watching the sport, but if you look at results, Trevor Crabb made a semifinal for 9 years. 4 Manhattan Beach Opens, a ridiculous number.
That's something to hang your black hat on.
Please do. And I love that he wears the black hat. Somebody has to be out there being interesting. We heard from Jen Dahlhauser it's not Phil.
Well, last night, 6 kills, 4 blocks, and 2 aces. I think that's interesting for Phil Dahlhauser.
To be clear, Phil is fantastic. I really love talking to Phil as that ball is missed off a beautiful jump set. We picked him up on the way here.
Yes,
Phil was content to just walk to the arena. And instead, hey, Phil, you want to ride? It's a little hot. He goes, yeah, sure. So we picked him up, and immediately we were into a conversation about whether a human is meant to wear shoes or not.
It's true.
Yeah.
How many people have carpooled with Phil Dahlhauser? I feel pretty cool.
Today, too.
There's a big swing from Andy Benish.
Yeah, and I love the conversations you get into with these men and just get to know them off the court, whether it's Phil today or earlier in the day I was talking to Miles, and I said, Miles, you know, what else you got going on in your life? And he said, well, I was raised Protestant. I'm looking a lot at Catholicism now. I'm looking a lot at another opportunity to change over where I'm going with my spiritual side of things. And I thought that was a very interesting discussion, provoked a discussion about being on the planet and how we're here, and just engaging on a different level than volleyball alone. Orthodox Christianity is what he's looking at.
He also has an incredible mind, a valedictorian from high school, calling him the whiz kid from here on out.
Majored in applied math.
Yeah, come on now. One of the smartest that you'll see. Let's check in now with Casey Patterson. What did you learn about these two teams?
Yeah, I was talking to Matt Heath, Palm Beach Passion's coach, Phil and Trevor. It's a perfect example of that last serve by Trevor. I was like, dude, how are you going to nullify the on-2 option and just deal with their offense? He's like, look, we're just going to serve sidelines, real sharp, 12-foot line, and then try to pepper the middle with Phil's jump serve, right? And then I'm like, you know, they're talking about just sometimes it's better also not to just focus on that, but to just side out at a high level and stay consistent there and build our foundation off just side out at a high level. Then everything else we can kind of develop. So we got a good game plan, and I feel like it's simple, but it's going to be effective, and that's what they're going with.
Well, Casey, right as you're telling us about the game plan, Palm Beach Passion gets stuffed right back their direction. Andy Benish causing some problems at the net.
Yeah, he's big. I like the way Andy affects not only the defense at the net as he does there, but his jump serve. Those are probably his 2 best skills.
Trevor Crabb. A error on his side. He is typically one of the most consistent.
Yeah, that ball looked a little wide and it kind of came off a little funky from his hand.
It just hit the outside of his hand. On the outside. You want the challenge?
Phil considering a challenge here on the line call. You be the judge.
That's out.
Or Kevin be the judge.
No, it's out. Don't bother. It's out.
Phil just taking an extra breath.
Save your judgment for another play, all right? Next play.
Talked about the World Championships from Melissa Humana-Paredes. That's hung over the top of the net.
We saw Brandy Wilkerson in the last match make these big jump moves. Same thing here from Andy Benish. Jumps to his right and puts a cap on this thing. Look at this. Would you like a roof to go with your building?
How about terracotta? That's a 4-0 run.
Wow.
Trevor will forever be the target. Another block, and Phil finds the quick contact. You have to have no panic when you're playing against blockers like this.
Well, sometimes you need Phil to just open the door to the phone booth for you, let you out.
I can always count on you for a phone booth reference.
No one knows what those are.
You're showing your age, Kev.
They still have them in the UK, but only because they painted them red.
One to the switch. Whoever gets to 8, and there it is. The Dallas Dream have found the halfway point.
Scotty, straight switch time.
Gives us a second to check back in with Casey Patterson. I think he has a special guest.
I've got Guy Patterson here who just turned 14 years old, and funny story, he's been coming to AVPs for 14 years. Guy, what's your favorite memory growing up going to AVP events?
My favorite memory when I was little going to AVP events was when you won. We all ran to the court to cheer you on.
Oh, I love that you said that. So me winning was your favorite memory? Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I've got something that my favorite memory of Phil, maybe not favorite, but this is a photo from the King of the Beach in 2009 AVP of Phil going about 4 feet over me. It's maybe the most embarrassing photo ever from Sean Hayes. Luckily, not a lot of people knew that was me because I was backwards, but Phil was, let's say, shoulders over easily. So 2 things, his favorite memory and then my not favorite memory.
Casey's still having nightmares, and I love that we just showed a photo from his phone. Thank goodness no text came up. I hope he had on Do Not Disturb. And of course, by the way, if you didn't catch that, that's Guy Peterson, Casey's son. I wonder who set up that interview.
Guy Peterson? Guy Patterson? We're renaming him. Sausage King of Chicago?
That's pretty good, though. I'll give it to you, Casey. Quiet platform for Andy Benish. Man, you couldn't hear the ball hit his hand on the pass or the attack.
Soft, supple. You know, Phil actually quite complimentary of this pair here. He said, I feel like they have a different gear when they play in the AVP League. And when they go to FIVB, he's like, I want them to play a little more like that, with that same kind of edge, that same kind of confidence. He said he really loves the way they play in league.
Why do you think that's different?
I was talking to Miles earlier today, and he said that the level is just so much higher worldwide, which is expected, right? You have a domestic tour, you have a population, then you go to 8 billion people, and you find another population that's distilled down. And I said, well, what is it? And he said, well, it's the serving. The serving that the international game presents as a challenge, and it is the first thing. The second thing is the efficiency of the players and where they're able to put the ball. It just applies so much pressure. So I think you're constantly coping being on the defense rather than setting the tone. So the more you can establish that tone, and maybe that's what Phil is talking about, establishing tone and confidence in a match, the more they can do that internationally, the more success they'll find.
They have established a 7-2 run in this first set, now with a significant advantage. This Tuesday on NXT, Ethan Page takes on Ricky Saints for the North American Championship. This is a battle you won't want to miss. NXT Tuesday at 8/7 Central, right here on the CW. How about a little arm bar for you?
Yeah, I was just thinking, we were going through setters that made a great transition into beach volleyball.
Yeah.
Kenyon Seaman was on that list. For a long time, Kenyon was recruiting wrestling talent, and he went to the FIVB events to look at some volleyball players as potential wrestling talent when he was in that position for 10 years. And I was wondering what kind of crossover. I was going through my list of guys. Sean Scott comes to mind, of course, George Romaine, Jason Ring, the obvious ones when it comes to becoming a wrestler. My current pick, Hagen Smith. Let's put him in there. Hagen Smith, bring the floppy hat. You could be a bushwhacker like earlier, shave the head, I don't know, or go Fabio. It's like one or the other.
I was going to say Sean Cook, but I'm going to switch and go Hagen.
All right.
There's a look at some numbers for you. 6-1 when winning the first set.
Yeah, dominant.
I have seen Hagen split his T-shirt in the midst of a match, so that's a good pick by you.
I'm excited he's in the league.
Hagen Smith will be playing alongside Logan Weber. Hagen Smith, of course, the son of legendary beach volleyball player St. John Smith.
Another setter that made a successful transition. A lot of UCLA guys on that list. It was kind of dismaying. Ricky Ludy's Karch Karai. Sorry.
I mean, you could just keep going. We'll just be here all night.
Those are just the UCLA guys.
Something about setters. Good thing you're standing next to one. And here's another. Miles Partain. Was it the MPSF Player of the Year when he played for the UCLA Bruins on the indoor side?
As a setter.
As a setter.
Actually tried to get back on the team this year. Felt like it was close. But the NCAA in the end ruling that his participation on the professional level in beach volleyball, which is considered a separate sport, had negated his eligibility and opportunity to return. I asked him why would he want to return. He said, well, they had the three-peat going, the possibility to do that. I had left the team kind of early, and I wanted to see if I could put a cap on that experience.
I also want to give a little shout out to the Partain family as here. This is chased right now. Tight ball. but want to spend just a moment to talk a little bit about the Partain family. They lost their home in the Palisades fire just a few months ago, and it was really tough going. He tried to get back onto the UCLA roster, like you mentioned, just trying to find a little bit more of a base. I know you know the Partains.
Yeah, the Palisades fire affected so many volleyball families, including the Partains. So fortunately, a lot of them have landed in the South Bay, including them in Hermosa Beach, and found a good spot to be while they try and sort out that process. Cooper Robinson, current star for UCLA, who's going to go on to a professional career shortly. His family also down in Manhattan Beach now, going through the same thing. Had a chance to catch up with Bob and Leanne. You know, something unimaginable.
Absolutely heartbreaking, but so grateful to have Miles Partain with us on the AVP.
And I said his brother Marcus, who he played with at UCLA, doing well down in San Diego, leaning into the community and his church there and having success professionally in the real world, as we call it.
Brothers playing beach volleyball. That sounds oddly familiar. Trevor Crabb, of course, brother to Taylor Crabb. You'll find him in the AVP League.
All right, we'll get the Taylors back shortly.
Not a big approach here, but just finesse.
Yeah, and I love the touch from Miles there. Full elevation. We've seen him pull the ball across his body here, just going up top. He's so technical about it. I think it's kind of a reflection of his personality. Look how good he is about his footwork. Gets to a stop, waits for the set. Good timing and excellent touch to the corner.
Trevor Crabb takes 2 steps back and 3 steps forward, and he's going to have to do it all over again. Oh no, a net violation. Oh man, sorry Andy, I tried to give you the block.
Yeah, well done, unwind the score there. That was a big move.
Not able to see that. A net violation on Andy Benish. Gives Palm Beach the point. Can Phil Dahlhauser do some things he's known to? Good serve high on the chest. And how about that matchup? There's Phil.
Looks like Phil last night just kind of taking over the end of a set.
Number of times, it's kind of like Tiger Woods wearing the Sunday red. We've seen Sunday Phil. Well, he's gonna have to find it on a Saturday night. Takes his time from the service line. Another high one to the chest of Benish. Serve Andy, serve Miles. It's a double-edged sword.
I like the crowd reaction there too, because it's just a big guy getting up, hitting the ball hard.
Set point now, the Dallas Dream. They were undefeated in 2024 in the league. A perfect 10-0. Fallback set. And you better hang on to your hat. Another foot dig, this time, Trevor Crabb. Block out. That's set number 1.
The crowd approves. And the dude abides. I love it. And what a good way to end.
I just want you to know there is a drinking game out there happening this evening. I saw it on socials. A falling down set from Phil Dahlhauser means drink.
There's one.
How about foot volley, though? I don't think anyone had that on their bingo card.
Next week, Viejas. Yeah, Phil loves to do that, right? Steady his hands, make sure he gets a good, even ball up there.
I thought his second sport was basketball, not soccer.
Well, he's European. Oh, wait, it's from Hawaii. I thought you were talking about Phil.
Yeah, wrong partner. Man, how fun is it to watch these two big-time blockers go head-to-head, and then just the steadying forces of the defenders in the backcourt.
Yeah, it's a good matchup overall. These guys continue their winning ways in the AVP League, still undefeated. Yeah, I wonder where the upside is for these guys still. I like Andy making those big moves when he's getting over the top, baiting people into things that we've seen Phil Dahlhauser do for a very, very long time.
You can take a look at some of the accolades. We've already mentioned that he's a 4-time Olympian and gold medalist. He has 62 AVP titles. That means he's won 38% of the events he's entered. A 4-time AVP MVP, my favorite sentence. And already 780 AVP match win percentage. I mean, the legend of Phil Dahlhauser will live on, the impact. And I think one of the coolest things when we spoke to him is that he said he just wanted to be a good guy on the court. That was the biggest impact he wanted to leave. And also the fact that you didn't have to have a traditional way into playing professional beach volleyball. He said he remembers when he first started out, he was playing behind some building on Adam Roberts' court or back behind his house, and Nick Lucena was his partner. They got together. Next thing you know, he takes a little step away, heads towards Todd Rogers, wins a gold, finds Sean Rosenthal, gets back again with Nick. I mean, he truly has had a journey throughout his career and learned a multitude of things.
Yeah, he said back when they played with Nick the first time, look, we're in our young 20s, we're just kind of a bunch of idiots. But then he said with Todd, oh, listen, I learned how to be a professional, how to put in the work. And it's not about necessarily being the best athlete. It's about that work and that focus. Then with Rosie, he said he was an incredible athlete. They were on kind of the same wavelength, and it was really easy to play together because Rosie understood the sport so well. Just a naturally gifted athlete. Then he was back to Nick, and it got even better because they had more wins together.
So a multitude of lessons from a multitude of partners.
Yeah, when he went back to Nick, he said, I need to be a better partner. He realized that he needed to give more to the relationship, and he did that, and they experienced so much success.
A look to set one stats, the hitting errors on the side of Palm Beach. What else stands out? You've got them in your hand.
Yeah, I'm looking at Trevor Crabb's numbers, right? 14 attacks, 2 kills, 6 hitting errors, so he's eating those for the Palm Beach Passion, and that makes it really simple. If you're the Dream, you just keep serving Trevor.
I mean, Phil was the second highest hitting percentage in 2024. He hit .591. That was just behind Chase Buddinger's numbers at .623. They were 2 of 5 athletes to hit over 500 in 2024.
And Miles just turned that ball on too, off a nice high pass from Andy, and they can really vary their offensive style quite a bit, can the Dream.
Trevor Crabb's going to see the majority of work. I mean, how do you have that much touch?
Because that's what he does. All he does is play volleyball. Court in the backyard. He said the court, after the fire, the court's still good. No problem. No problem. Can't get there. PCH reopening this week, actually.
Yeah,
Down to 1 lane. But yeah, I said, spent a lot of time out there playing.
He's just 23 years old. Feels like yesterday he won his first title with the AVP.
Remember him and Phil Lotman doing well? Or, Paul Lotman?
Now we're even, 1-1.
Phil Lotman is his evil twin, actually has a mustache. Yeah, he and Paul Lotman having an incredible run. Miles still in high school in Chicago. It was really fun to see.
That would be Paul Lotman, of course. Let's take a look at this one over the top.
Yeah, Phil Lotman. I'm going to put that one somewhere. I like that.
You can guarantee Paul's tuning in and enjoying that. That ball is sky high and out of bounds. That first title actually came at 20 years old, and it was in Atlanta.
There you go.
And he wasn't even old enough to have the celebratory champagne.
Don't tell anybody.
Don't tell anybody. He didn't partake, don't worry. Miles Partain has discussed just how the early stages of his professional career had a little self-confidence issue, some self-worth issues mentally. But the 2 guys currently on the sand next to him really changed his approach. That's Phil Dahlhauser and Andy Benish. He had had a few conversations with them, and he said every single match there's a lesson that you can learn from the wins and from the losses, and it really changed how he approached the game. And we're so glad to see him on the sand even after Paris 2024 for someone that has so much ahead of them in their beach volleyball career?
Can I counteract that a little bit?
Go for it.
I speak kind of the opposite of that as Trevor picks up a really good looking kill there. In this day and age of sports psych, and we talk about how important sports psych is, of course, and how it's advanced the game and players' view of it and themselves, et cetera, et cetera. Sometimes there's nothing to analyze. It's just a bad match, just not your night, and you don't need to obsess over it. Just let it go, and I don't think there's enough of that. I think everyone wants to gain something from each match, each contact, and the focus needed to be successful. Oh, okay, whatever. Sometimes it's a monkey sport. Like, you're going to be a gorilla, you're going to hit the ball, me spike ball, good, bad.
See, this is where we're going to differentiate ourselves, because I think there's a lesson that you can learn from every single contact, every single point. Hey, we're on opposite sides of the spectrum. That's totally fine.
That's cool. You're on the wrong side, but whatever.
Whatever.
Yeah, you just have to give yourself some grace.
I am with you.
Give yourself some grace once in a while, is what I mean. Short version.
He said everything's a win. That's what winners are. You see losses as learns and wins as wins, and you just can't lose. I love that.
Okay, it's a lot of pressure.
Miles Partain doing a nice job cleaning up the service line. Taking an extra second.
Well, they're staying really steady. They're just not giving up points.
Big double arm lift for Trevor. What makes him so deceptive?
That's a good question. That might be one for Casey.
Ooh, I like this.
Yeah, I might take Casey's opinion. I'll definitely take Casey's opinion over mine in this case about what's deceptive about Trevor.
Casey, we got to know, what makes Trevor Krabs so deceptive?
You know what? Like, you just mentioned the double arm lift. At the same time, he never shows like one extreme aspect of offense or the other. He stays in that like happy medium realm, so it makes him really hard to read, along with he gets up and is really long, and it's deceivingly long. You don't feel like he's going to be able to get up and get that high and then also have that touch with his hand. So, you know, he's got multiple layers of threats with his offense, but I'd say that's one of the biggest things is he doesn't come in to swing hard every time. He comes in with that middle ground, and so you have to hold a little bit longer against him because he can hit those extremes. He can, you know, dart it off your hands or over line.
Just so many options to work with. Trevor Krabs stands at 6'4", but what I'm hearing from you, Casey, is he plays bigger than that.
Yes.
Do you think it has anything to do with playing on a small court growing up? Outrigger Canoe Club, do you think there's anything from the control aspect that forces you to do?
100%, and that's one thing I make like the kids that I coach play like short court and learn how to deal with momentum and height and the set distance and stuff like that. That's such an advantage. Plus, you know, his little brother, you got Tri, the McKibbins, you had a group of guys that just were all in at the same time, and that, you know, that breeds a really cool culture of beach volleyball, and then the IQ is beyond their years easily.
Throw the Shojis and the Christensens in there, and it has been a golden age of Hawaiian volleyball.
All right, trivia question for you. How many Olympians has the Outrigger Canoe Club produced in beach, or excuse me, in volleyball, beach and indoor?
Oh my goodness.
Wow. There's a lot.
Do you want the answer now, fellas?
13, 14.
Ooh, close.
I'll take the under.
Under 12.
Wow, I was one away.
One of which is Trevor Krabs' cousin, who was recently inducted into the Volleyball Hall of Fame. Congratulations to Lindsey Burke, the two-time silver medalist.
Yeah, they had a nice ceremony in Denver this last week. A lot of honorees on the beach and indoor side, of course, across the volleyball universe as well.
A few names to toss out there for you. Legends like Stein Metzger, Clay Stanley, Kevin Wong, Mike Lambert, so many legends.
No Tom Hoff?
Oh, you could add that in too.
There you go.
I only said a couple. There are 12. For Palm Beach Passion to find themselves back in this match, what do you think needs to take place?
Well, they got to score on their own serve. They missed a couple, but that hasn't been the problem. It's been the side-out efficiency of Dallas. And that's become the problem when you play Andy and Miles, is that they can throw a bunch of different stuff at you. They can change the pace of the pass and go on two. They can just go on two in any given situation. You got Andy up there making Anders Mole kind of moves. You see him where he's jumping and reaching hard one way, a curtain sideways. It really makes them a challenging thing to do, to hone in on one thing that they're not going to do well. I would think service is the best way to get to them. because you control that entire aspect of the game. But Phil was jump serving out, now going to the float, but still experiencing too many misses.
I mean, they're simply the best at every aspect of the game right now in the United States. That's the Dallas Dream.
Yeah, this has been an exercise in just not giving up points. You score one here, one there, not big runs, but you never give anything back.
Gosh, that's a wicked serve. But you mentioned the block as Trevor Crabb tries to gain the fans on his side. Snuck this one through.
See where Andy goes here. Kind of straight away, and he saw at the last minute Trevor's going cross body.
Dallas Dream under a new coaching regime. Made me think of Andy's block. There's the side set, jump set. Is it sticky? It's going to be a net violation. I'm surprised Phil didn't say something.
Well, you were wondering about weaknesses in their game. That's been kind of the only weakness is who's coaching, how long are they going to stay, why are they here, what do we need out of that person. That still is a fluid situation over the last 12 months for that club right there, the Dallas Dream.
What do you think Theo Brunner will be able to provide Andy as a blocker?
Yeah, I mean, long-term success as a blocker. I think maybe some insight into different types of hitters, different situations, different methods.
Maybe a new perspective.
Yeah, that experience perspective. Some of the stuff that he got from Phil, but that's only one tournament. Now you get access to a guy who for a long time faced a whole variety of different situations in the game. That's going to be beneficial.
Quick steps for Miles Partain. He somehow loses his hat. And it's starting to get a little louder in Palm Beach.
This one has to be in. I want Phil to go back with a clear mind here and hammer it.
The last went right up the middle. Man, the Dallas Dream are sure pinched to the interior of the court.
The edges are open.
On two. Too easy. When have you ever seen that from Phil Dahlhauser?
Well, it is humid out here and a little sweaty. So, dig that time through the hands, right? Before a dig, net violation. Missed opportunities. That's a 4-point swing for the Passion.
This one just hurts my heart. I'm sorry. He was perfect. He was in the right place.
This could be such a different set
after
right
that
now.
dig.
We could be tied. Could be 10-all.
There's little room. That's one way to do it. The duck and cover from Trevor Crabb. DJ Rouchet knows exactly what point it is in the match. How about a little more volume? That last one, it's the same ball he had the dig on.
Yeah, I think they're out of time here. Look at that deliberate scoop. Very much a planned play there. You see Andy giving a lot of extra pull up to that ball, giving Miles the option.
They're going to need a side out and a handful of real points. Palm Beach Passion have had just 3 this set. Or excuse me, this match. There's the block, Andy Benish. Wow. Is anyone going to be able to stop this duo from Dallas?
If your side out game is on, you're lethal.
Match point. To the sideline. Partain patrolling the backcourt. He isn't needed yet. All they need is a side out for the win. Big moment for the Palm Beach Passion. They're going to need some reels. on 2. And my goodness, the perfect way to end a win. The Dallas Dream, 15-10, 15-10.
That's part of the conundrum with that team. You try and jump serve them hard. You try and put them to a spot. Well, they're just going to come at you on 2 because Miles' hitting window is so big. Andy can just push that thing up to the net, and Miles can feast. Watch, Phil isn't even halfway there by the time Miles takes a swing at an open net. Phil has to stop because he could just get stuck in no man's land, not be able to make any kind of play. That is the modern game right there, and these two men remain undefeated. Outstanding play, outstanding variety of plays.
They were 10-0 in 2024, the runners-up for the championship as well. They just picked up the win in Huntington Beach in the Heritage Series event. Let's talk to our winners, Andy Benish and Miles Partain with Casey Patterson.
Andy and Miles, great win. We come to expect this now from you guys. You guys are playing at such a consistently high level. I want to talk about a few things that I've noticed that you guys have kind of dialed in. We talked about this earlier, your jump serve, what you've changed and what you're focusing on. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't get it going that much tonight, but we got him out of system enough. But mostly just trying to hit it hard and be aggressive and get some left to right spin, which is a little unnatural. I know you used to do that when you were playing. And then just keep trying to be aggressive no matter the misses or the makes.
Yeah, and then blocking lights out helps too. In transition, your offense is like, it's inspiring, and that's one of my favorite things. What goes through your mind when you get all these different scenarios? What are you thinking about, and how do you just stay confident?
Try to be in the same metronome, the same timing as serve receive. Take a deep breath if I can. It's good to dig high, and Andy was setting me great today. So trying to come in with the same set of attacks, same things I'm trying to set up, and keep it high, especially against Phil or Sharp. Really sharp.
Theo's been helping you guys a little bit with like blocking, right? I'm curious, like, how does that help solidify some confidence in like maybe expanding some options of new things that you're going to do? Anything there? I would just love for you to talk about what Theo brings to the table.
Yeah, Theo's our self-proclaimed Rick Rubin. He's awesome, yeah, I mean, he was such a talented blocker, as you know, and he could do some things that I couldn't do, so he's kind of teaching me some stuff, and then just figuring out, you know, the shapes and the timing, and then pairing it with Miles behind us. I think it's really set up our base defense to be effective against every team, and then we got little wrinkles to throw in everywhere.
I love it. You guys are playing amazing. I love watching you guys play. It's inspiring. Congrats. Good start to the season. Excited to watch the end result.
Thank you, Casey. Thank you.
Rick Rubin, that's a poll.
Super producer.
Okay.
Theo Brunner. Okay.
Let's take a look at some of the highlights. I know you've got some stats in front of you as well. I mean, these two, 15-10, 15-10. It's just never going to end.
Well, they just didn't give anything up, right? There were 0 blocks for Phil Dahlhauser, who's typically patrolled the net. 3 blocks for Andy Benish, but then it was the side out and hitting game. Benish 7 for 9, Partain 8 for 11. Yeah, those numbers are going to win every single match, no matter who's on the other side. And what I love about that is that's in your control. That's your action. Your side out is mostly in your control as long as you can continue to dictate. Man, pick up a point here or there, and you're going to look pretty good on the scoreboard.
Andy and Miles picking up the win. On the other side of the net, it was Phil Dahlhauser, who is playing in his home state of Florida. He's surrounded by his friends, his family is in town, and currently standing alongside Casey Patterson.
Here with Phil, we were just breaking it down. We're talking about the future of the sport and how, even though we're sad this is Phil's last year, we're also happy that a team like that is representing USA and playing at such a high level. And Phil being, you know, at the top of the game his entire career, we're just talking about things that he appreciates about them.
Yeah, they're playing, they are by far the best men's U.S. beach flip team right now. They're just playing at a high level. I wouldn't be surprised if they win a World Tour event this year. It's been a couple years since they've won one, but I think they're playing better than they ever have.
For you and Trev, what are some things you guys are going to like think about working on or just talking about as far as defense, offense? Is there anything on your guys' mind post-match?
It wasn't a very clean match from us. I had a couple not great sets. and we made a lot of errors. They made 2 errors, and we probably made like 7 or 8. And a team against like that, you can't make errors like that. You got to make them earn their points.
We talked to Andy about that, and that was his fault that you missed that set because he was just all sweat, right? And then
it was so wet, it went right, clean right through.
It's like the rain ball without it raining, so you didn't know to prep for it, right?
Yeah.
Well, we're excited to watch you for this last year. And of course, for us, it's just been an honor to be around you in the game and watch it evolve. And so we just want to thank you and stoked to see you come back from this and dominate.
I appreciate it. Thanks.
It will be our pleasure to get to watch Phil Dahlhauser win or lose on the AVP. I have a feeling that there's going to be a lot more wins than you might think. We've got more coming from Palm Beach on the other side of this break.